Two lovers in a desolate church. A night of reunion long overdue. Where have they been? What has kept them separated for all this time? And in that time, what have they done? A promise now fulfilled? The forthcoming tales the two share will reveal all. Their stories of loss, stagnation, uncertainty, and values. Stories that show the pain people harbor, yet the beauty they can bestow upon the world. A Fairy Tale of the Two by Minori, is a story woven through the eyes of multiple people in the city of Ottawa, dedicating its first chapter to Hiro Hirono, a professional manga artist struggling with the balance of his school and work life. With the pressure of deadlines on both ends, finds himself skipping out on the former, yet unable to fully commit himself to the latter. To complicate his matters further, due to a bizarre set of circumstances, he meets a girl named Miyamura Miyako, and while he would rather be immersed in his work, finds himself spending time with her. Though she intrudes upon him and comes off as a pain at first, it's these moments that force him to open his eyes to what he's been forgetting to look at. This is only one man's story. One at a crossroads who will not advance unless his heart is dedicated to one over another. However, he is not the only one who has reached a similar state of stagnation. Despite how it may seem at first, Hirono's story is not the centerpiece. As with each chapter, the baton is passed, going on to follow Tsutsumi Kyosuke, a friend of his. Kyosuke is a prideful philanderer with a passionate heart towards filmmaking. Without thanks to words or context, is looking for that one shot to blow away his future audience. The baton is then given to Renji Aso, who is completely at a standstill, unsure of what direction to take his life. Although the idea of a novelist sounds ideal, his confidence hampers his initiative. Beyond Renji, it is then passed on to a few more. However, their identities are better left unknown for now. Nevertheless, though their personalities and situations are vastly different, there is one commonality between them. They are stuck, struggling to get ahead. Whether that be in their relationships, profession, passion, or just life in general, they have lived without one important thing. Whether it's a newfound love or admiration, the course of these protagonists' lives shift. One chapter is dedicated to each of them, along with their heroine in a budding romance centered around exploring values. The plot takes its time to lay out the mindset and circumstances of both, detailing their aspirations, setbacks, family, and everyday life. It's a bit of a slow burn, but one that courses you along via entertaining chemistry between the chapter's main group and subtle characterization spread throughout. While it may be slow, it's hardly dull, as to accompany these seemingly ordinary events is a soft yet striking soundtrack, oddly befitting the two opposing seasons their stories take place. Coupled with beautifully detailed backgrounds, dynamic sprites, and numerous CGs to ease you along the banal happenings. The meeting of the chapter's main duo is often sudden, thus using this time to naturally build the relationship. To flesh out each side, it plays around with perspective quite a bit, occasionally pulling you out of the protagonist's mind and into the heroine's, allowing for a seamless exploration of their inner self, which is normally hidden. Both sides of the relationship are explored in tandem, at times switching between the two with scenes only a visual novel could make full use of. Then, when they meet the next day and their everyday interactions play out, knowing the emotions brewing on both sides can be a wholesome endeavor. It shows the influence the other has on their lives, upping their mood when down, giving them motivation when they're lost. Aside from one or two, this introspective lens shows insight into every character who appears. Getting to peer into their emotions and seeing how they react to their own doubts, insecurities, and environment grounds them with a touch of realism. As seen with Miyako, lively and outgoing, you see how she does well in school whilst being plagued by boredom. Why she always seems so energetic with actions going against the norm as she gets ever more involved with Hirono. Or how with the athletics-loving and tomboyish Kei, who always puts on a brave and stoic face, has come to suppress her feelings. Feelings she now is forced to face. Yes, some traits may be a bit exaggerated or animated like Kei's short temper and Miyako's energy respectively. But despite this, the inner monologue and dialogue speaks to their human core extraordinarily well. Throughout their character arc, it's easy to find one or two traits you can relate and latch onto, with once again the soothing production and prose blanketing the setting in a warm and comforting atmosphere as the couple grows alongside one another. Though they might not at first, you see how the two grow to resonate with each other, not just personality-wise, but emotionally and mentally as well. There's this feeling that, together, they can overcome any obstacle life throws their way. However, comfort like this won't always last forever. That warm feeling can turn ice cold, bringing tension where there was once only warmth and satisfaction. You see, both sides are lost. Perhaps they're actively working towards a goal, but unsure just how to reach it, while the other may still be looking for one. Though they try their best to help the other reach their ideal place, the path isn't always as smooth as it might seem. Even with the other, they find themselves back where they started, stuck, as whatever plagues them now may not be something in front of them, but a part of their long, unresolved past. Though they might think they have moved on, to a certain degree they are still bound to it. Hiding within is a deep despair eating them from the inside, begot from a great sadness persisting throughout the years, or perhaps an event that led them astray. Through years of struggling, what's shown on both sides is the result, and the problems they face are not only internal, but now cause friction with those they care for, sprouting through indecision, the fear of burdening another, not being able to let go. It's all evocative of the pain, so much so that the words of even those close to them will not quell the visceral emotions they feel. Enter Yuko Amamiya, wandering the city of Ottawa at random, donning attire not unlike a nun. She is a peculiar character, wearing a radiant, unfading smile. Though she tends to play around, often prodding and playing with emotions through teasing retorts, behind them a core of sincerity. When serious, her words hold a surprising amount of weight, striking deep into the core as if understanding of the anguish they are going through. In all this dismay, she serves as a guide to these youth. Though her appearances and actions are a mystery, a topic of intrigue even for those who meet her, her brief counseling may be just what they need in these uncertain times. And so together, with the help of their confidant, each chapter's leads come to understand not just each other better, but themselves as well. Where they end up may not always be ideal. After all, there are some things that cannot be fixed, things that cannot be changed. However, it's about the choices up to that point, making amends when necessary, and what one strives for afterwards. It's in the face of despair in which one will fight for and find their happiness. And once one has found theirs, they shall take their step out of the spotlight and into the supporting role. One of the many things that makes F unique is its unconventional method of storytelling. As said before, one chapter is dedicated to its protagonist and main heroine, and once their problems are resolved, they pass the baton. Whoever was in the supporting role will now hold the reins of the narrative's focus. But even after a couple's story has ended, their lives continue far beyond the words dedicated to them. Through methods subtle or direct, gives the feeling they are all connected. In that sense, the setting, Ottawa City, which harbors their lives, is a character of its own, witnessing its residents find their footing, grow from pain, and go on to prosper much like it has. As each character explores the city, explores the ups and downs of life, it all builds upon one another, coming back to the two at the church. In that time they've been separated, what have they accomplished? What was the purpose of their meeting? It's a thread spun throughout the stories they share, the stories of those they met, the story of Ottawa, the story of themselves, and the pain all of them have endured. Anxiety, loss, tragedy. It's a natural part of life. The world can be unfair, cruel even. These interwoven tales make that well known. But disaster is not where things end. Just a single seed of joy in a field of despair can soon sprout into a garden of vibrant green with time, effort, and unity. One who has found peace will do what they can to help another, spreading the happiness they gained, in hopes they will do the same. That is F, a fairy tale of the two. A lovely story that surprisingly is hardly talked about in the VN sphere. I've maybe seen it mentioned by a few people only here and there, in spite of how wonderfully crafted of a story it is. It's one of these rare stories where just mentioning certain ideas or baseline information will spoil the experience in the most subtle ways. Here is what I believe to be the essence the story carries, with what makes it truly special left to be seen firsthand. So if you do decide to check it out, which I cannot recommend more, you will be met with a heartwarming message woven through multiple distant yet interconnected human tales about finding and spreading happiness. And with that, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. Later.